So I just spent like an hour talking about sad technician trees from this book. We're gonna move on to the source book, Star Wars: Edge of the Empire, special modifications for the technician career. We're gonna talk about a good tree, Droid Tech. Droid Tech was when I built my only Star Wars character. I love Droid Tech. Droid Tech is a techie who specializes in crafting droids and also repairing droids and talking to droids and just droids. You're all about that droid stuff. And also, the reason I love the tree, you are really great at crafting in general. You have arguably one of the best crafting talents in the game, which maybe at a glance, not necessarily crafting talent, helps you with computers checks and mechanics checks. Eye for detail, one of my favorite talents in the game, full stop. So eye for detail, the way it works, it's a crafting talent. Can help you with any computers checks, or any mechanics checks. It's a crafting talent. It just is. And basically, it saves a bad, but not too bad of a crafting check from the brink of possible badness. You have a lot of choice on how your crafting check goes. Do you need it fast, or do you need it good? You might have some choice here. It depends, you know, fairly situational. But for the most part, I've rolled a ton of crafting checks, and I was always glad for every single rank of this I had, which we get multiple ranks. Only tree I've ever seen that has more than one rank of eye for detail, which is great. It's great, hard to come by. Great, I love it. I can end the video right here. That's all you need to know. It's that good, if you want to be a crafter of any kind. But yeah, good at crafting in general, but also good at crafting droids, which there are some characters, like in the engineer source book, where it says that they're good at crafting a specific thing. No, they're good at working mechanically with a certain type of thing, and they're good at crafting, but they're not good at putting those two things together. Here, they are. They're good at crafting in general, crafting droids, I guess just mechanics and computers checks in general, which makes perfect sense. And also, it can be really helpful if you want to, like reprogram a droid. You know, in KOTOR, remember, there was always a droid in a base you could rewire and do stuff for you. I don't think I did that enough, did I? I'm a terrible KOTOR fan. GMs absolutely sprinkle rundown droids in enemy bases that they can reprogram to fight for them. That's fun stuff, and so that'll help you with that if your GM is doing fun stuff like that. And we also have some help, well, not talking to droids, but when you talk to droids, the effect is better and more impressive. A couple ranks of that talent, which we saw before in Outlaw Tech, which didn't really get much out of it. But in here, we have leadership as a career skill, so at least we have some talking skill as a career skill. You can lead droids to do stuff for you, and they're going to be better at doing the stuff because multiple ranks of this talent. We also have an improved and supreme version of this talent, where basically the droid that you direct, they're better at assisting people, which I had a droid assistant with me, and I would always just have him assist me in everything I did, so that was awesome. Maybe your GM wants to put a little lid or reins on that a little bit, but that was awesome. And also, eventually, you can upgrade this so that if you're really good at something, you can kind of pass that off to the droids, which I guess maybe you could pass off your techie stuff, because that's mostly what you're going to be good at. Pass off your techie stuff to, like, some combat droids, so you get some combat droids under your thrall or whatever. You're talking to them good, they're doing stuff good, they're assisting people good with their shooting or whatever. And then also, oh, we need to do a mechanics check over here, so you have them be better at doing mechanics check because you're so good at it, they just copy you, which normally they wouldn't, be good at doing because they're shooter droids. But of course, this would be a situation where you yourself couldn't just do it. It's good that this talent isn't mandatory because it depends on how your build is, how useful this talent is. Piloting, maybe you got a couple vehicles you need piloted, so you can have a droid you do the piloting, but you really have to have those skill points spread out there to make the most of it. Anyway, what else do we got? The repair thing. I break apart a thing to repair another similar thing without damaging the first thing, maybe, depending on how good I roll. We have that, which fairly situational, but when the situation arises, you'll be glad you have it. But this one, I love this one. So basically, it's a buff to a droid. You get to make them better in certain areas, but also worse in a different area because you're rerouting power basically from one system to another. So you get to modify a droid, which I did this, and I'm not sure if it's allowed. It doesn't say that it's not allowed. It could be like an attack, although your GM could arguably make a case for not doing this, but I like it as an attack where I would basically like increase a droid's presence or something but decrease its agility, so its combat is worse, right? I guess as a GM, they could then be like, oh, well, he has minion droids, which you didn't even know about, and they come out, and he does a leadership check, which makes him better, and ha, didn't see that coming, did you, douchebag? And the eternal struggle between players and GMs trying to screw each other over continues. But you could also do it to a party member, or even yourself, and that's sort of the big thing with this tree is that how good it is, how useful it is, it depends so much on the party. If you have a player or two who's a droid, or you and a player are a droid, like, you're gonna get so much out of this. Like, it might even be better to just heal or repair yourself because of the bonus to it than have someone else heal you, even though there'd be penalties to repairing yourself, as there always is, but still, it might be worth it. You might be so good at mechanics checks that you might just repair yourself. Why not? But also, a lot of the tree deals with NPC droids, which is its own side of the tree. It's easier to ignore, and the other side is really good. So if there aren't a lot of NPC droids in the campaign, ideally a GM would see this tree and, okay, well, we're gonna have to have some sprinkled in NPC droids throughout the campaign, especially if they're making a beeline down that half of the tree. But if you don't want to focus on that part, you just want to focus on dealing with yourself, upgrading your allies, or healing, whatever, and also general mechanics stuff. Hidden storage, there's a whole bunch of rules to it, but you can hide a stuff and a thing in an object. I don't think droids, well, maybe droids should count. It would make sense if droids counted. In my game, the GM let the droid count, so I would keep stuff in my droid buddy. If you are allowed to hide it in droids, and you are playing as a droid, maybe the GM might allow you to hide it in yourself, which I think that's another talent somewhere, right? One of the characters has it where it's like I think Sleeper Agent, it's like a cybernetic implant. You could hide stuff inside you. Or something like that. Someone's got that. I guess it's sort of a way of cheating your way into having that. But anyway, my enthusiasm about the tree mostly came from good memories with the tree, though it is a good tree. It's a solid tree, but it could be good, like B- to A-, depending on the amount of people that are droids in your party. And also, how well does the GM, like, throw in NPC droids in there, or allow for opportunities for you to buy droids and the like. It depends. Now, when building your droid tech, first of all, species, obviously, Northern Mustafarian from this book, they get the elusive eye for detail talent. So, if you pick Northern Mustafarian to be the droid tech, well then, very quickly, you're going to have like 2 ranks of it. Eventually, you'll have 3 ranks in it. That's huge. That's about, I'm not going to say that's all you need. All of the ones in existence are all you need. But that's a lot. That's a lot. That's huge. Great for crafting. And, you know, pretty good for, like, mechanics and other computers checks. I'm not going to even recommend any other species, by the way. Like, it's too good. Borderline broken kind of good. Just play Northern Mustafarian. You're not allowed to play anything else, even though I did. But do as I say, not as I do. Northern Mustafarian, Droid Tech, do it. Now, as far as characteristics go, there's no real bread and butter helping you with the techie stuff, beyond dealing with droids specifically, and also the eye for detail talent, which it doesn't really, it kind of makes you better, but not necessarily in a very specific way. It's debatable. There's no remove setback die or edit boost die to just general mechanics checks or anything like that. So you do want to have a strong intellect. Obviously, that this is kind of a specialist build. You're a techie, act like it. Unless you really are going to have a lot of NPC droids and you want to be a pet class kind of a thing, and you work with your GM, there's going to be opportunities sprinkled throughout the campaign with lots of variation to keep things interesting. They're really excited about it. They're going to have a lot of NPC droids for you to work with. Maybe it's a Clone Wars campaign and it's a separatist Clone Wars campaign. I kind of want to do a video on that. I know nothing about the Clone Wars, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But maybe it's really good for your campaign to do that, at which point you'd want to really focus on leadership, maybe in presence for leadership. But yeah, a 4-3 in intellect and presence, or of course the 4-4 build, I guess, would work as well. But yeah, that's it. All in all, Droid Tech, a pretty solid tree.